So the previous example that we looked at the example of the knee injury, and it's yes or no. Do you want to go or not? Not all decisions, however, are just yes or no, A or B. Other ones are when we look at the margin. All right, so it might be when we talk about Tylenol, do I want to take no Tylenol or one or two or three? All right, so not so much yes or no, but how much. So when we look at stepwise, you need to look at things at the margin. And when you look at the margin, you look at each incremental increase. And so the basic rule is if the marginal benefit is greater than the marginal cost, it's worth doing, so you want to do more. Now, the marginal benefit, just as a reminder, is the additional benefit of an additional unit or usage. And so the marginal benefit is the incremental benefit that you're getting. The marginal cost is the additional cost of an additional unit. So it's the incremental cost, right? The cost of the last unit. So you're not looking at 0 versus 1, 1 versus 2, 2 versus 3. Okay, you're looking at the first versus the second versus the third. Okay. Now, if the marginal benefit is greater than the marginal cost, all right, and net, you're better off. All right, your net benefit is going to be going up. If the marginal benefit is less, you're going to be worse off by doing it, so you're not going to do it. You're going to do less. And you're going to get to that point, this is going back to just kind of the basic theories of economics, where you maximize your benefits, where the marginal benefit equals the marginal cost. Now, marginal, average, completely different, and we'll look at that in a second, but you don't care about the average. All right. When you're making a decision, everything that happened in the past has already happened. It's gone. Okay. And so because of that, you're not worried about it. So you're only concerned about looking forward. And so, for example, let's say the cost of the first bottle of medication is $5,000. Okay, it's $5,000. And so you decide, all right, yeah, I want to buy it. All right, I need it, I want to buy it. Now you look at the second bottle. Now the first bottle was $5,000, but the second bottle may only cost you $5,001. Okay, so the marginal cost, the additional cost of that second bottle is only $1. So that second bottle, not two bottles, but that second is only costing you $1. Well, the average of the two bottles is $2,500.50. Right. Well, that cost of the first is already gone. Right. So averaging it out, it really doesn't help you make your decision. So when you look at making decisions, it's really about the marginal. Now, also when we look at the marginal, it's not just quantity, but it can also be what type. Okay, so it might not just be quantity of medication. It can also be what kind of treatment do you want, or in the example we're going to use is severity. How many patients should you treat, and which ones should you treat? Now, in general, when we look at marginal analysis, all right, this just gives the how to calculate it. Marginal cost is the additional cost of an additional unit. And so if we look here, change the color on this. As you move from 99 units to 100, your total cost goes from 2000 to 2017. Now, because we're going up by 1 here, it's pretty easy to calculate. You can see that when you go from 99 to 100, your cost goes up by 17. And so the marginal cost is 17, which is the cost of the 100th unit. And if you're doing a marginal analysis and you're trying to decide if you want to buy that 100th unit or sell that 100th unit, that's all you want to look at, the cost of that unit. And the actual calculation is here. It's the change in total cost divided by the change in output. Difference in cost over difference in units. Now here it's going up by 1, and so you can see that's where that comes from. However, if we go back down here, you see when you go from 130 to 140, all right, let me take this off here, and let's enter text box. So when we go from 130 to 140, the marginal cost is the change in cost divided by the change in quantity. And so here, costs go from 2,600 to 2,900, so 2,900 divided by 2,600. And let's make sure I'm doing this a little bit better. Divided by the change in quantity. Now it's not going up by 1, so you have to look at it over that range. And so divided by 140 minus 130, and that comes out to 300 over 10, which is 30. So that's where you get that marginal cost in there. So now let's look at a couple examples of doing a marginal analysis. And to kind of walk you step by step through this, and let me take this and make myself go away. Goodbye. All right, so when we look at this here, let's say that instead of one type of medication, so let's say you're trying to decide what kind of medication you should have, and you want to do that, and you need to look at the cost, the benefits, and so forth. So in doing a marginal analysis, we're going to look at our example here, and let's say that there's no treatment and then 3 drugs that are available. And so you go through and you have, if you have no treatment, your survival rate's 30%. If you take drug A, you have a 62% chance to survive in the year, drug B 65, drug C 67. Now there are also costs involved, and the costs go up with the drug type. And so if you get no treatment, the cost is 0. If drug A is 400, B is 55, and so forth. So cost per year of life saved. Let's talk about that for a second. The cost per year of life saved, that's basically a way to factor in the risk, the effectiveness of it, because you're not paying to get a full year of life with 100% certainty. Okay. So, for example, let's say that, let's just say it's the case where if you didn't take any medication, you would have a 99% chance to survive in the year, and if you did take it, you would have a 100% chance to survive in the year. Okay, and that drug cost $1,000. Okay, or it costs, let's say, $5,000. Well, you might look at that and say, well, no, I'm not going to pay $5,000 for something that's going to increase my chance to survive in the year from 99 to 100%. Or maybe you'll say yes, but it's in reality it's giving you 1% more chance. So this cost per year of life saved, it's a way to factor in the fact that you're not paying for 100% effectiveness. You're not paying to go from 0% chance to 100%. So let's look at this. The way that we calculate it is the cost, all right, the additional cost over the effectiveness. And so it's going to be 400, all right, which is the cost, divided by 0.62, which is your survival rate with it, minus 0.3. Okay. Now, don't worry so much about these calculations. Worry more about what it's showing. All right. So here it's 1,250. So your survival rate goes up by 32%, goes from 30 to 62%. The cost is 400. Now, the reason why that cost per year of life saved is it basically is a way to scale it up to where you would get 100% in essence. Okay, so if it costs you 400 to get 32% higher chance survival, what is 100? What's going to do to give you 100%? And granted, you're not going to get 100%. It's not realistic. to look at it that way, but this is just a way to compare apples to apples. Now, if we do this, and so this is going to be 5,500, all right, and by taking the drug, your survival goes from 30 to 65, and so 0.65 minus 0.3, and then if we do it for the last one, we get 80,000 divided by 0.67 minus 0.3. Okay. So when you look at this, let me come back in here for a second. So when we look at this, you can say, okay, what are my options? Cost per year of life saved can be $12.50 for drug A, $15,714 for drug B, and $216 for drug C. And you can look at that and say, okay, well, how much is it worth to live another year? And most people, when they look at that, they'll say, all right, you know what, $15,000 for an extra year of life, I can live with that. I'll do drug B. Okay. Here's the problem with this analysis, is that if you make that decision, you're comparing drug B, the effectiveness of drug B, and looking at the cost per year of drug B versus no treatment. This ignores drug A. And so when you're doing this marginal analysis, you need to factor in the fact that those are available. Okay, drug A is available, drug B is available. So you're not deciding no treatment versus A, no treatment versus B, no treatment versus C. You're going to look at, okay, what's my best option? No treatment or A or B, B or C, A or C. So it's a way to compare all of them and make those incremental changes. So what you want to do is you want to look at the changes. Okay. So going from no treatment to A, that's already given. Now with B, you know that drug A is out there. So drug B is going to cost you $5,100 more. Instead of $400, it's going to be $5,500. Instead of 62% survival, 65. And so when you do this, when you compare B to C, you can compare the cost per year of life saved of going from A to B. So the marginal of B. And so when you do that, it's going to be the change in cost, which is going to be 5,500 minus 400 divided by the change in effectiveness, 0.65 minus 0.62. 0.65 is what you get with B. 0.62 is what you get with A. All right. And if we do that through, and a lot of it's already done, comparing C to A and C to B. Now when you look at it and say, all right, well, wait, is B really, when you look at this, is it worth $170,000 for another year of life? Maybe yes, maybe no, depending on who you are, your income. But 1.5 and 3.75, most people are going to say, you know what, it's not worth it to do B now. Because A is out there, it is now not worth it for B. Okay. So this is just an example of marginal analysis, when you look at everything and you factor in all options, not just, for example, if you're sick, you don't say, let's see, do I want to do nothing or have surgery, or do I want to do nothing versus medicine, okay, and rehab. And so you're looking, all right, do I not want to do this, nothing, or surgery or medicine? And so it's comparing things by type of treatment.